Emily Wilson had always been the type to believe in fairy tales. She was a romantic at heart, with a passion for old movies and books that transported her to another era. Her life was quiet, predictable, and perfectly ordinary, until the day she met him. It started with a chance encounter at a small cafe in the city. Emily had ducked into the coffee shop to escape the rain, and that's where she collided with a handsome stranger. Apologies were exchanged, and as they waited for the barista to serve them, their eyes met in a spark of mutual attraction. His name was Alexander Xander Thompson, and he was everything Emily wasn't: charming, confident, and with a mysterious air that drew her in. They talked for hours, sharing stories and laughter, until the cafe closed, and Xander walked Emily home under the starry night sky. From that moment on, Emily and Xander were inseparable. They explored the city together, trying new restaurants, attending concerts, and taking long walks along the beach. Emily had never felt such a deep connection with anyone before. As their relationship progressed, Xander revealed more about his life. He was a successful businessman with a passion for art and music. His family was wealthy, but he had grown up without the traditional luxuries that came with it. Xander's parents were high society people who had always pushed him to excel, but he had rebelled against their expectations by pursuing his own interests. Despite the secrets Xander kept hidden, Emily felt like she had found her soulmate. She loved him for who he was, and he seemed to love her just the same. But as their relationship deepened, Emily began to notice strange inconsistencies in Xander's stories. He would receive mysterious phone calls, and his expressions would change from calm to anxious in an instant. One evening, as they sat on the beach watching the sunset, Emily confronted Xander about her suspicions. He hesitated before answering, his voice barely above a whisper. "Emily, I have something to tell you, something that could change everything." He took a deep breath and revealed the shocking truth. Xander was not who he claimed to be. His real name was Alexander Petrov, and he was a former spy working for a top-secret government agency. Emily's world came crashing down around her. She felt like she had been living in a dream, and the rug had been pulled from beneath her feet. The man she loved was a spy? It didn't add up. As the days passed, Emily struggled to reconcile her feelings with the new information. She couldn't help but wonder if everything they had shared was a lie. Had Xander ever truly loved her, or was it all just part of his cover? The tension between them grew thicker than the fog that rolled in off the ocean. Xander tried to reassure Emily, explaining that his work was just a part of who he was, but she couldn't shake the feeling that he had been hiding something from her all along. Their relationship reached a boiling point when Xander received a message from his agency summoning him to a meeting. He had no choice but to leave, leaving Emily alone and heartbroken. As she watched him walk away, Emily realized that she had been blind to the warning signs. She had fallen for a man with secrets, and now those secrets were tearing them apart. The days that followed were dark and lonely. Emily tried to move on, but her heart remained heavy with the weight of their broken relationship. In the end, Emily made a difficult decision. She had to let Xander go. She couldn't bear the thought of living with a secret, no matter how small it seemed. As she watched him disappear into the crowd, Emily knew that their love story was one for the books, a tale of secrets, lies, and the devastating consequences of loving someone who was not what they seemed. Epilogue. Years went by, and Emily rebuilt her life. She found a new sense of purpose in her work as an artist, creating pieces that reflected the turmoil she had experienced. One day, while exhibiting her art in a gallery, Emily received an unexpected visit from Xander. He had been released from his agency and was starting anew, trying to leave his past behind. Their eyes met across the room, and for a moment, they just looked at each other. The spark that had brought them together all those years ago still lingered, but this time, it was tempered with a newfound understanding. Xander took Emily's hand and they walked out of the gallery together into a brighter, more uncertain future. "I'm sorry," Xander whispered, his voice barely audible over the hum of the city. I was wrong to keep my secrets from you. I promise to be honest with you from now on. Emily smiled, her heart still heavy with the memories of their past. I appreciate your honesty, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. But I think it's too late for apologies. Xander nodded, understanding in his eyes. I know, he said, but I want you to know that my love for you has never changed. It's just different now. Emily raised an eyebrow, a hint of a smile playing on her lips. Different? She repeated. Xander took a deep breath, his eyes locked on hers. Yes, he said. Different, but still true. And with that, Emily knew that their love story was far from over. It was just beginning.